All right, our first storyteller has told some tales for Snap Judgment, and I hope this didn't happen today, but she believes that she will have extremely bad luck if she doesn't catch 12:34 on her cell phone every single day. Please welcome April Wolf.
I was told not to take the mic out, but I'm really sorry. I might have to. Okay. All right. So 5 things about me. One is that I love slasher movies. Was raised by my grandparents who love slasher movies and watch them every night. So I love Black Christmas. I love Sleepaway Camp. A lesser known one, Ice Cream Man. Very good. And then there's another thing that I was raised Catholic. That actually might be most important, which means that if you're Catholic, nothing is literal, everything is very figurative, because you have to read into everything. So I read into everything. My boyfriend loves this. Probably not, though. I'm from Michigan as well. Thanks. Oh, awesome, Michigan people. And also, I've read a lot of R.L. Stine, and I'm kind of hesitating to like actually say that, but R.L. Stine was really, really into it. And the last thing that you need to know, The Craft, the movie The Craft starring Robin Tunney, Fariza Balk, and Nev Campbell, have seen it roughly about 100 times. Okay, so that's it. And then, this is all informing why I actually chose to move to this place in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Kalamazoo, by the way, if you have never been to Kalamazoo, their slogan, their motto is actually, yes, there really is a Kalamazoo, which means that they are reaffirming their existence. So in Kalamazoo, there's a triangle set up there, and that means that it's a trinity, which if you're Catholic, you really love that. So at the trinity is the abandoned insane asylum at the top of the hill, and then over here is going to be the Hilly Pioneer Cemetery, where it's rumored that parts of Night of the Living Dead were filmed there. And then completing the triangle is Harper's Funeral Home, which has been in that family for generations. But this triangle drew me to it, and I found this apartment that was in the center of that triangle, which is why I moved there. And I was so convinced that it was haunted. I was just like, oh my God, this is so awesome, it's haunted. And so I moved there, and I got everything set up, and I took my cat with me, my cat Turkey, who, you know, not such a witchy name, but having a cat, being a single girl, very Sabrina. So I went there, and I had a party my first night, and I was a semi-pro wrestler for a little while at that time. My name was One-Eyed Wanda, but I had all of these friends who were wrestlers too, all these women who loved to drink, and so I had them over to have a party. And the first thing that I wanted to do, obviously because I know how to party, is just lay out the Ouija board. So I laid out the Ouija board, and I was like, this is it, guys, we're gonna see if this is haunted. So we start asking questions that, you know, like, how did you die, ghost? And it was all like, fire in ice. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense. And then finally someone's like, hey, can you prove your existence? Like, what do we know, or what do you know that we don't know? And it spelled out, God, doll, tape, feet. Okay, that doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but to me it means a lot. Because one of the things that I had not unpacked was this weird secret lawn gnome that I had stolen when I was in high school and written God across the forehead. And it had sand that would fall out of the top of it, so I taped the feet. And no one knows about that because it's kind of embarrassing. And it had a sign in its hand that said, Merry Xmas from me and the kid. And I put it into the closet, and so when it spelled that out, I was just like, oh, shit. This place is actually haunted. And then I started getting a little bit nervous about it, even though I really love that it's haunted. But I didn't want to actually live in that house anymore. But I had this year lease, right? Thing is, nothing actually happened after that. So I was just living in this house that I thought was going to be haunted and nothing was really going on. I started getting bored. So I would try to make my own kind of like occult thing. So I started buying things from this mail order catalog called the Pyramid Collection, which is basically where Stevie Nicks gets all of her home furnishing and all of the signs that say, dance like no one is watching. And there are like many different types of signs that all say dance like no one is watching. And so I started mail ordering things, but that didn't last very long because in this house, and it was haunted, the first things that I would mail order was this like gypsy bracelet that attached at the finger and then went down to the wrist, you know, and it had like all of, and that's actually really one of the most embarrassing things that I've ever bought. And then on top of that, I bought a personal massager, which if you know what that is, okay, and then that package got stolen by my neighbors, and the packaging slip was left right there for me to see. To let me know that someone knows what I have. And I know it's the neighbor kids, right? These kids who just had it out for me. So that made things a little bit awkward. That was one attempt that was failed. And then there was this woman named Rose. And Rose is like this kind of grandmother figure, but also the kind of person who is like the grandmother in some movie like Seventh Seal. Like she's kind of creepy and kind of wholesome, but she would walk through the neighborhood and had like these 4 pets that would follow her everywhere. One was a cat named Jessie the Body Ventura. One was a toy poodle named WWF's Hulk Hogan. And then there were 2 black cats, one with a fucked up eye and one without a fucked up eye, but those were both called The Undertaker, after the wrestler The Undertaker. So this woman and I got along quite well. She loved me, I loved her. One day she just disappeared. I didn't see her for a while. And I would see the pets around, and I was just like, well, who's feeding these pets? And I got home from work I was working at TGI Fridays at the time. So I was standing on my porch, and I see that the Undertaker, the one with the fucked up eye, is right in front of my fence. And I'm standing on my porch, and I'm like, oh my God, no one's feeding you. And as a Catholic, I read into this. So what do I see? Something happened to Rose. Like she fell, she can't get up, and now her cats are dying and no one's gonna feed them. And so I'm like reading into this and I'm like, oh my God, I've gotta save this cat. So I look at it and I start slapping my thighs and I'm like, Undertaker, Undertaker, baby, I've got a treat for you. And I say that a couple of times and I'm just like, Undertaker, Undertaker, baby, I've got a treat for you. And I keep saying it and I'm looking at the fence, right? Because that's where the cat is. And I'm looking, it's on my side of the fence. Okay, also keep in mind that I do live next to a funeral home. On the other side of the fence, as I'm screaming like, Undertaker, Undertaker, baby, I got a treat for you. Like, and I'm getting insistent because I'm like panicking at this point. Like, come on, you've got to come in the house. I have to save you. Rose is gone. And I look up after my final one where I'm like, Undertaker, Undertaker, baby, I got a treat for you. And the Undertaker for the funeral home is on the other side of the fence in a black jacket and holding a trash bag, just like, the hell? and so I was like, well, you know what, maybe I need to calm down a little bit. Maybe I should not read into things a little bit. And so I went back into my house and I was like, well, there's no redeeming myself after that. Everything was fine for a while, and then something happened that really freaked me out. So my cat Turkey has been with me for 11 years now, but she is very close to me, as most witches have cats. So I always felt like I knew her very deeply. And she went missing one night because it was raining and something happened, you know, like I had the door closed and she couldn't come back in. But usually if I go outside and I like call Turkey, Turkey, she'll come back. So she didn't that night, and it was raining quite hard. It was like summer in Michigan, so things are humid, it's raining, it seems like really quiet and weird. And at 2 a.m, I was like, oh my God, I have to close the door, but I can't find her. So I go outside, and I'm like looking around like, where is she, Turkey? And I don't have a flashlight, and I'm just kind of panicking. So I walk around, and I'm kind of at my wit's end, and then I see the Undertaker. Not the one from the funeral home, but I see the Undertaker cat, the one without the fucked up eye, come out from a tree and just kind of stare at me. And I was like, hey. And So normal people would be like, oh, that cat scared the shit out of me. But me, I was like, Undertaker, take me to my turkey. And so I asked the Undertaker to take me to my turkey, and I said it out loud, and then I started following the cat because it meowed at me and went. And so I followed it because that's what you're supposed to do when, like something sends you a sign. And so I'm following this cat, and it keeps stopping, and it will like meow, make sure I'm behind it, and then walk again. And it keeps, walking. And it leads me around back the funeral home to the garage where they keep the hearse, like where they air it out at night. And so it stops right at the garage door, and it just goes meow. And then it walks away. And it walks away to like this chorus of the other cats, because Jesse the Body Ventura and the other Undertaker are just standing off to the side. And then it goes over there and just stands and looks at me, and I'm just like, turkey? Like, and then I hear a meow, and I'm like, oh my God, and I say, turkey, is that you? As though like, I'm just checking to make sure it's my cat. And and so, there's like another meow, and I just stood there, and like the cats kind of like went away in their own little like chorus of cats, and I was like standing at that door in the rain, like, oh my God, this is like what my life is like. And I'm gonna stop right there because I think like all of you like Unitarians, atheists out there, you just don't get it. You don't get that for a Catholic, an ex-Catholic like myself, every day could be your next most terrifying adventure. Thanks.